Hello, my name is Christina Calloway.
And I am Everett Calloway.
Our path to Christ Church Cathedral actually began in 2010, though we did not officially step foot in the cathedral until 2017. Our story is not a fairy tale that follows the cradle-born tradition. Neither of us were Episcopalians prior to coming here. Actually, my father and Everett's grandfather were Baptist ministers. We didn't get married here or even get baptized here. We weren't even personally invited. So how did we end up here? We ended up here by a prayer, basically. I prayed for a place where our family could grow in Christ. And when we moved to the Bellevue area of Nashville in 2010, I just felt a tugging at my heart to visit. But it was not until we actually relocated north of the city that I finally stepped foot in the building. So during my first few visits to Christ Church Cathedral, I ignored the silent invitation to just simply connect. However, the sincere love of parishioners that surrounded us really foiled my attempt to remain anonymous. And in our journey, my husband and I were very warmly welcomed into the parish. Surrounded by grace, we just came to a new level, a very refreshing level of peace as we finalized the long-awaited adoption of our two sons, Andrew and Nathan, and expecting to have many years of chorister practice and vacation Bible schools and helping out with the Sunday school ministries. And then for us, just, communion with other parishioners, pilgrimages to the Holy Land, centering prayer, me, lay ministry as a Eucharistic minister, and acolyte. We were really excited and are excited to walk with a new level of openness that spiritual family can provide and has provided here at Christ Church Cathedral. However, say it all together, then 2020. while things were a little blurry at first, it's interesting that it's 2020 being the perfect vision. Our spiritual vision was actually refined. A closeness developed and an unveiling of what could be through our talents, through relationships and opportunities may not have been realized during this time.
During 2020, I became ill, and I have been blessed by the outpouring of support and love. The visits to me in the hospital by Reverend Lissa and Father Timothy were genuine. I didn't feel like I was some checklist that they had to check off and go about their way. They truly offer support and concern and prayers. And they also, when they visited our son Nathan, Father Timothy visited our son Nathan when he was having bouts with headaches. It was genuine concern. He went out of his way, and we've been blessed that way consistently since we've been at Christ Church Cathedral.
Yes, it's so hard to just nail down one thing regarding what would encourage us to give and why we continue to give. Why do we give our time, our treasure, and our talent? It was so hard to make a short list during this time. Is it because of the beautiful architecture? Is it because of the community that we have? Is it because of, as Everett talked about, just the genuine love and kindness? Is it because we like to satiate ourselves with kind community through partnerships for racial reconciliation, like with St. Anselm's and Gordon Memorial? When Reverend Lissa does give those energetic, tear-jerking sermons, it warms my heart, and I'm like, yeah, we're here, we're home. Or even when Reverend Matthew, makes a humorous joke to kind of lighten the load from the punch that's getting ready to come, to kind of bring you back to humility. Or Dean Kimbrough, who gives a very pragmatic proposition that even the youngest of our children can understand. That does encourage, but it's not the main reason. even when it comes to the hope of having breakfast again. I'm just going to throw that in there. Would definitely love that, but that's still not one of the reasons that we give. Barely new to the parish just a few years ago, when I didn't even know how to find the Holy Eucharist in the Book of Common Prayer, I was asked to serve on vestry. And not fully understanding, I asked the person who nominated me why. And she gave these reasons, but then she finally said, you know what, it's because you love Jesus. And it touched my heart so much so that while I was getting ready to say no, I couldn't help but to say yes, because I said, wow, I want to be in that number of people who love Jesus. And so that's the reason that we give. So Jesus said that I came so that you may have life and may have it more abundantly, and that he would never leave us alone. He didn't make it a conditional statement, and he didn't say, oh, when that plague is over, then I'll show you love. He didn't say, oh, I'll show you all my power when everything is all perfect. No. The kingdom is now. And we have experienced that in too many ways and in too many moments at Christ Church Cathedral. And in a world where the gospel of Jesus is being tainted with shadows designed to distract and to destroy, Christ Church Cathedral remains and maintains the courage to stand up for truth, seeking justice, walking humbly with our God. And so that's the reason that we give. And we ask you to do the same.